Coming up on Mustang News, it's been a graduation tradition for decades, and the school tried to shut it down. Find out what the Downtown Association did to keep it alive.
We'll show you some exotic wildlife that you would never expect to live in San Luis Obispo's backyard.
And the Big West Track and Field Championships are coming up this weekend. We'll take a look at one athlete's preparations for the conference finals.
Broadcasting from Studio 300 on Cal Poly's campus, you're watching Mustang News.
Thanks for joining us for our weekly broadcast of Mustang News. I'm Dylan Payne.
And I'm Lisa Diaz. Local bars in downtown San Luis Obispo will be open for business before the graduation ceremonies this year. The San Luis Obispo Downtown Association met with Vice President of Student Affairs Keith Humphreys and Mayor Jan Marks. At the meeting, owners said they do understand the concern raised by Cal Poly faculty, staff, and students. ASI leaders requested that the bars continue to be open at 6 a.m. on graduation.
Students can make their own decisions. If they really want to get that intoxicated, that is their own decision if they know they could risk not being able to participate in their commencement. But, and that's always been my philosophy. A couple bad apples shouldn't ruin it for the rest of us.
Cal Poly is creating a Responsible Celebrations at Graduation educational campaign, which will debut in the next few weeks.
President Armstrong's keynote address covered the possibility of things like a convention center and even a pub on campus. Reporter Julian Delgadio sat down with Armstrong to get more details about his vision for the university in 2022.
President Jeffrey Armstrong expanded on his vision for Cal Poly, speaking about diversity, the university's capital campaign, quarters versus semesters, graduation rates, and potential businesses on campus.
Number one, I want people to know that whatever we do and as we move forward, we're going to stay focused on our founding principles. And it's focused on student success, learn by doing, excellence, and the nature of our university being a comprehensive polytechnic university.
Armstrong called for the university to increase graduation rates, house more students on campus, increase enrollment, enhance public and private partnerships, and increase diversity.
Those are really required to solve the wicked problems of the future, and most importantly, to continue to turn out the best talent really of anywhere. Our students, they do very, very well. They get the job done, and they get jobs, of course.
President Armstrong decided on 2022 because it was far enough in the future to make the presentation about a vision rather than an immediate action plan. However, 8 years is not too far in the future, meaning the university's current population can still be affected by the changes. Julian Delgadio, Mustang News.
You can find more information on President Armstrong's plan on mustangnews.net.
Cal Poly is expecting to enroll the least white and most gender equal class in school history for fall 2014. While the official numbers aren't in yet, Cal Poly is projecting to enroll nearly 4,500 first-time freshmen and 760 transfer students. The university expects that underrepresented minorities will account for 18% of the student body. Fall 2014 also expects to see the most gender equal class with 50.8% of enrollees male and 49.2% female. Cal Poly admitted 383 fewer freshmen and 187 fewer transfer students than last year.
Greek Week is in full force both on and off campus this week. The week is planned to mix all sororities and fraternities into 12 Hunger Games themed districts. These 12 teams compete against each other in different activities like basketball, dodgeball, a canned food drive, and penny wars. The proceeds raised will be donated to local restaurants, the Children's Miracle Network, and the Lucia Mar School District. Participants say this is not only a good way to meet people in other sororities and fraternities, but to also give back to the community.
We show everyone else that we're a big deal. We're making an effort to volunteer to do all these things for our communities.
The week finishes off with a beach day on Saturday and a lip sync competition on Sunday in Chumash.
With gas prices escalating, students are cutting back on driving. We took an in-depth look at why San Luis Obispo has some of the highest marks in the country and how this is affecting Cal Poly.
Well, with the gas prices being so high, I have a greater emphasis to bike to class, which would be nice, but it's also pretty hot right now.
Yesterday, my sister and I were going to go to the beach, and we decided it's too expensive to drive there, so let's go to the pool instead.
Or my family even tells me to not spend money on gas to come visit. And I really wish that if the gas is cheaper, so I could just do that for a weekend if I wanted to.
One of the most expensive cities for gas in the most expensive state. San Luis Obispo gas prices are burning holes in the pockets of Cal Poly students.
California consumers, particularly in some of the higher income regions like ours, we've shown companies that we're willing to pay $4 a gallon. So we're gonna see that regularly.
And stricter state regulations raise California prices even more.
On the refining side, you've got a problem with less refineries here, and so the wholesale price can be higher just because they don't have enough of the particular blended fuel.
Gas is mostly made of hydrocarbons, and the fraction of those hydrocarbons change with the season, with the winter blend and the summer blend.
The gasoline is formulated in such a way that you want to make it lighter, easier to vaporize in the winter, but you don't want to have something easy to vaporize in the summer because it could end up being an atmospheric pollutant.
Also, lower fractions help cars start in colder weather, and about 10% of the gas we put in our cars is ethanol.
I can tell you as a fuel, though, it's a great fuel, and it's a great additive to gasoline, certainly compared to the two precursors to it that were just really bad for the environment.
Blends, regulations, demand, market, and global issues all play into what numbers are posted on the board in front of the stations we rely on.
And so if you're running a gas station, for example, and you're setting gas prices, you got to refill that tank, and it might be a month from now. And so you're kind of going through the calculation of how short are we going to be at the refining side? Is the wholesale cost of replacing that tank of gas going to be much more a month from now?
The lowest prices closest to Cal Poly campus are at Conserve Fuel on Santa Rosa.
Coming up, the Cal Poly Pier only opens its gates twice a year. We'll check out what's inside.
And coming up, we'll also tell you why Cal Poly students are remodeling a family's house.
Is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they'd die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything...
It is I, Cruz Zinkerbell. Yeah! Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Students in the School of Education are preparing for the implementation of the Common Core state standards. The standards are a new approach to education which focuses more on critical thinking and less on memorization. They concentrate on developing analytical and problem-solving skills rather than testing fact-based knowledge. The new standards are more condensed and will help slow the pacing of the classroom, allowing teachers to go in-depth on standards instead of rushing to cover them all.
It's kind of narrowed the number of standards that teachers are actually required to teach. So one of the bigger problems with the state standards and content standards is that you go like an inch deep and a mile wide.
Officials hope to see students developing a deeper understanding of the material after the standards are implemented. making them better prepared for when they enter college.
How it might look different here at Cal Poly is that we might have less students coming in at a freshman level who need remediation.
44 states have adopted the standards, and California expects to implement them starting in the 2014 to 2015 school year.
Greek Life members are very present on the ASI Board of Directors this year. 16% of the student body is part of the Greek population on campus. This year, 15 out of the 24 members on the board are involved in Greek Life. The ASI board chair says members involved in Greek Life are not only responsible for representing the Greek community, they also have a responsibility to serve their respective colleges and the student body as a whole.
They're representing the students at large within their college. They have done a great job at looking at the interests of those students as a whole and not working for their own special interests.
Next year's board will only have 11 out of 24 members also involved in Greek Life.
Lions, tigers, and bears, oh, they might be closer than you think. We went up to Paso Robles to run through the jungle to find out more.
Do you want it? What? Yeah?
Mackenzie Mossing loves her dog, but she has another favorite animal.
And I also really love the tiger just because she's so beautiful and she's actually a really gentle soul. So it's cool to see an animal that's so huge and powerful just be so loving.
Mossing is not your typical Cal Poly student. She works at Conservation Ambassadors for Zoo to You.
Basically, we take animals from around the globe and we visit all sorts of ages, everything from senior groups to preschool kids and everywhere in between.
Over 300 animals have a place that they like to call home, all thanks to Club Zoo.
So most people don't know this, but exotic animals are the third largest illegal import behind drugs and weapons. So people are constantly sneaking them into the country and selling them. You can buy a monkey at a pet store in Las Vegas, which is pretty ridiculous.
When Conservation Ambassadors brings these animals to schools, the reactions are priceless.
It was like bringing aliens into this school. And it was amazing to see the kids light up, to get them to as close as we can get them. I'm like getting goosebumps right now.
People who are interested in the animals can volunteer at Club Zoo.
And it's really nice because it's a stress relief from school, and I don't think many people get to say that about their job. So it's nice to have them. Investigative. Boy, hi. Ah, he likes to try to get in my mouth.
The workers are currently constructing a larger event area so they can house more people for shows at Club Zoo.
Incoming freshmen have a brand new opportunity for this summer. Cal Poly is launching the pilot of the Quarter Plus program. Quarter Plus is a 3-week intensive program that is designed for incoming freshmen. It will provide them units, get them acquainted with campus, and help them make friends before fall quarter officially starts. The program is only being offered to students majoring in business administration, economics, or construction management. You can find the full story on mustangnews.net.
Cal Poly students are getting ready to break out the toolbox and get to work this weekend. Members of the Poly House Project will be renovating bathrooms, kitchens, wheelchair-accessible doorways, and other structures for families in need. This is the 11th year that students and volunteers will be building a house for a local disabled family. This year, there are 2 homes being renovated to meet different individual needs. The students have been planning all quarter and now have 2 weeks to complete the projects.
It's really amazing to see basically 26 students be able to help 2 families out and really make a difference in their life.
The project is part of a project management class within the Industrial Management and Engineering Department.
More than 900 people attended the open house at the Cal Poly Pier this weekend. Reporter Morgan Butler took a look inside the pier, which only opens its gates to the public twice a year.
So what they like to eat the most are these right here. These are called mussels.
For most of the year, the pier's closed off. We really don't like it if you bring your friends and family here because it's a scientific, dangerous environment. But on Pier Day, we open it up and let everyone come look at the stuff we do.
We have touch tanks so people can interact, touch, feel, smell animals. We had a scientific diving booth here so kids can come, throw in a mask, put a regulator in, and actually experience scuba diving. diving a little bit.
And a lot of the stuff that we have on display, like out in the courtyard, we have a lot of our research projects. It's not stuff you'd be able to find. So it's just such a way you can discover so much fascinating new stuff.
Some of these kids have never interacted with the ocean at all. So this may be their first time handling a sea star or seeing fish that actually live under the ocean. And certainly in our case, the first time breathing off a scuba regulator.
Everything you see in this room, if you know where to look locally, you can find it. And I mean, that's really one of the things that I would seek to illustrate to people is just how great an environment we live in and all the cool stuff you can find here.
You are almost a mile out to sea and there's no chance of getting seasick. We had whales swimming by earlier this morning. And it's just a great opportunity to learn about the marine environment.
I mean, for me what this is I come in here and I talk to people about all these organisms that I love for 4 hours today. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that feel like mango?
Yeah. The next chance to take a look inside the pier will be in fall 2014.
Well, we have a live look out at Pismo Beach where it is currently 78.
And we'll have Julian Del Gaudio in studio with your weather for the weekend up next.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to like, you know, do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
I don't know what's happening. Start a new chat. What did I do? Okay, wow. That is so weird.
Hey! Hi!
Oh my gosh. Hi! God, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so nervous. Gia, you're so big. Come closer to the camera. Wait, now you're in my face. That was so good.
Well, Dylan, I've noticed temperatures are really heating up out there.
Oh, they sure are. You know, I just want to go to the beach every single day this week, you know. Yeah. But we have Julian Del Gaudio in the studio to give us our weather report. Julian?
Thanks, guys. How's it going today, Cal Poly? So today's weather is going to be really, really hot with temperatures heating up to 96 degrees and really sunny outside with record high temperatures for this time of year. We have humidity at 25% and lows tonight at 61. Let's look at headlines. It's going to be sunnier all weekend with highs being up in the mid-90s for Friday and finally cooling down on Sunday with low winds. And let's take a look at our central coast. So we have 102 up in Paso, 101 down in Atascadero. By the beach, Avila's 80, Los Osos 81, and in our hometown of San Luis Obispo, it's going to be 96 out there. And a little down south of that, 80 in Arroyo Grande, 94 in Nipomo, and 98 in Santa Maria. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Friday, it's going to be really sunny with 91 degrees and 57 is our low. Saturday, a little partly cloudy, but still kind of hot out there. We're rocking 84 degrees and a 54 low. Sunday, once again, it's going to cool off a lot, 77 degrees, normal San Luis Obispo weather, and cooling down to about 50. Once Monday rolls around, sunny again, lower temperatures at 72 degrees and 50 degrees for the low. And finally, Tuesday, partly cloudy with 70 degrees and 50 degrees is the low. And that's all there is for me today. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thank you so much, Julian. So, Dylan, I mean, it's going to cool down a little bit. You might not be as tempted to leave class for the beach next week.
No, not at all. And, you know, I'm looking forward to that cooler weather.
Definitely. Well, coming up, we're going to find out who on the softball team won a huge award.
And we catch up with a Cal Poly baseball player, hear what he has to say about this weekend's series against rival UC Irvine.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
That's slow, that's slow. That's slow. Look, he's blushing.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Well, it's time to catch up with our sports for this weekend, and I'm excited to see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. We have Giannis Giesel in studio. Giannis, I hear we have a big new name on campus. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, let's talk about football. Two Cal Poly athletes are now professional football players. After a month of working out in front of NFL scouts and playing in All-Star games, linebacker Johnny Millard was signed as an undrafted free agent to the St. Louis Rams. Sullivan Gross signed a contract to play for the Houston Texans. Gross was the Big Sky Conference Co-Defense Player of the Year, and both Millard and Gross played in every game they were eligible for during their time at Cal Poly. Slotback Cole Stanford has not officially signed with anyone, but did receive minicamp invites from the Green Bay Packers and the San Diego Chargers. LGBT advocator and commentator Sid Zeigler Jr. gave a presentation called How We Get to Michael Sam, Lessons from a Movement, Athletes and Advocates Who Opened the Doors, the NFL's first openly gay player, yesterday in the Chumash Auditorium. The presentation was a result of NFL player Michael Sam coming out about his sexuality in February. The focus of the presentation was to encourage athletes who are part of the LGBT community to be proud of their sexuality and to know they are being supported. Sid says that Michael Sam coming out has brought awareness to those who didn't support the LGBT community before.
Michael Sam coming out was an incredible trailblazing moment. I mean, this guy has transformed how we look at the NFL in relation to gay issues, and it's also forced the NFL to really deal with this.
Zeigler is the co-founder of Outsport.com and is also a regular contributor of CBS Sports Radio. Members of the track and field team are preparing for the upcoming Big West Conference Championship at UC Davis this weekend. I sat down with one of the athletes and talked about the training.
Sprinter AJ Love is already lacing up her spikes and can't help but reminisce of her first time at the tournament.
Last year did not go the way that I wanted it to go. Coming from high school, and I was like, I don't really lose, and I get all these medals, and then I got here and it was like, no, people were running me down.
A pretty competitive conference promises a thrilling competition for the Mustangs. Coach Williams does his best to prepare the athletes for this weekend and is confident that the girls are in good shape when the Big West is calling.
I think it's going exceptionally well, honestly. We came off of a good meet last weekend in Santa Barbara, against Santa Barbara, so that kind of leads us going into the conference.
The hardest part for me is just mental. Our coach always says, like, your race is 6 inches. So he's always like, it's in your head. If you aren't mentally tough there, then, you're never going to compete the way that you want to compete.
I look forward to what's going to happen in conference. So it should be a lot of fun. No pressure, but Asia, Kendall, Deja, they better perform. But there's no pressure.
So I'm expecting big things next weekend. So yeah, totally different from last year, I'm hoping.
AJ Love is going to compete this weekend in the 100-meter and 200-meter dash, as well as the 4x1 and 4x4 relay. Cal Poly softball Sierra Highland is the Big West Freshman Pitcher of the Year. Highland played in 46 overall games and 21 conference games. She had 263 strikeouts in all the games she was in. Highland dominated throughout the season because she kept improving herself and her pitches.
I would say the spinner. I was terrible when I first started, and I'm actually pretty decent now, so that's something that I'll be doing throughout all 4 years here, so it helped a lot.
Highland says she gained so much information on how to pitch thanks to her pitching coach, Chelsea Barclay. Cal Poly wrapped up their regular season this weekend. The Mustangs end their regular season this weekend with a 3-game series against Cal State Northridge at Matador Field in Northridge. First pitch is set for 3 p.m. on Friday and 2 games at 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Cal Poly and Cal State Northridge have met 214 times on the baseball field, and the Matadors hold a 117-97 advantage, though Cal Poly earned a series sweep a year ago in Baggett Stadium.
Thank you so much, Giannis. That was all great. And wow, congratulations to Sierra Highland.
Yeah.
What a dominant
That's
performance
awesome for her.
this season. All right, well, coming up, find out about Cal Poly's new business administration venture after the break.
And we're out. You got plans?
You bet. $50 million Americans struggle with hunger, but we can do something about it. Excuse me. What's going on? Dinner.
Please join me in helping put food on their tables. Together, we can feed America.
You guys keep going. I'm gonna get the plates. Plates?
Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Get caught buzzed driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I know it's a warm weekend ahead. Let's go to Pollywood and see maybe what we can do to enjoy some of this weather. Right, Dylan?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Lindsay, we have Lindsay Lewis in studio. She's going to give us the full scoop.
Thanks, Lisa. So one Cal Poly student is working to get you to see live music with a positive message.
I woke up, I brought some dank up with my niggas.
The idea of a positive environment behind a production company came from a story that Eric told his friend about a negative experience he had at a concert. As a GRC student at Cal Poly, Eric used his graphic design classes to get his company off the ground. Eric's co-CEO is located in Los Angeles, and they hope to continue promoting shows along the Central Coast, but they are still fresh to the game. You can find more information about Positive Vibe events and how to purchase apparel on positivevibe.com. Their first event was held last Friday at the Graduate in San Luis Obispo. The Positive Vibe team said the event was a success. California natives Radical Something are making another stop in SLO this week. This Thursday, they will be performing at Slow Brew as a part of their Summer of Rad tour. The band's latest album, Write It Out, debuted #3 on the iTunes alternative chart and features the single We Were Just Kids. Doors for the concert will be open at 7:30 p.m. and tickets will be available for $15 at the door. That's it for me at Pollywood. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Well, thank you so much for also watching our 30-minute broadcast of Mustang News.
For continuous broadcast coverage, you can visit mustangnews.net.
From all of us here in Studio 300, have a great day, Cal Poly.